Hi there, my name is Scott. I'm DSRW on GitHub, and I'd like to talk about the new version of Inu 0.2, which will hopefully be coming out this summer. So Inu is a 3D live programming block building environment. It is kind of like if Minecraft had a logo style API. It's written in Nim. It uses Godot and the Godot voxel plugin. It's MIT licensed, and it uses the Nim VM for script evaluation, which is what Nim uses for macros and things like that. It is useful for education and learn to code. It's a learn to code tool. It's also just a game that you can play, or you can use it for game development. It's designed to be usable by kids. I have a 6-year-old, so I would like him to be able to use it, but hopefully it will be fun for many other age groups as well. I kind of made it for myself as well as a lazy wannabe game developer. I'd like to have a tool that makes things a little bit faster. Everything is spatial, so there are no files on a file system or things to remember. Everything has a physical location in the game, so hopefully that will make managing some aspects of code easier. And it has the opinion that code is good. It doesn't try to hide the code behind a drag and drop interface or anything like that. It just uses Nim code with a DSL that makes it a bit like Logo, and I think it works out pretty well. So kids have trouble with typing, so it is a major issue when you're dealing with younger children. Many of them haven't typed before, and it takes a very long time to get up to speed with a keyboard. So Inu has a more verbose API like the one in the top picture that uses full words, forward, turn right. But there's also a condensed API that uses mostly single characters for everything, which is very difficult to read, but very easy to write if you're a kid who can't type, or at least much easier than it would be otherwise. So the goal for both is to minimize keystrokes, but obviously the condensed API is a little bit more aggressive about it. Try to avoid using the shift key as much as possible, and try to avoid indentation where possible. You should be able to do basic things, hello world type programs, without doing any indentation, and ideally without using the shift key, because those are both things that kids have trouble with. I run a coding club for younger kids, and these are just things that we have encountered. So 0.2 is the new version. It's the first version where you can actually have objects in the world that interact with each other. Previously, everything ran in its own VM, so every object would have a separate VM. But now it uses one VM for everything, and it uses Nim modules and a bit of behind-the-scenes magic to make everything accessible across modules. And so we have a prototype style auto object system. It does have enough features for probably not game development, but yeah, you can get part of the way there at least. It has support for state machines for managing behavior, which I think I'll probably demo later. We'll see. They're not quite fully baked, but they're close. And it's due out the summer of 2021. Most of the major functionality is done now, but it is loaded with bugs, and it's probably going to be difficult to get through this demo, but we're going to try. So hopefully I'll get the bugs fixed and bake it a little bit more, and we'll have something halfway decent by sometime this summer. There will be a Mac, Linux, and Windows version, which is the platforms that Inu currently supports. Inu is available right now. You can download version 0.1 on GitHub. It doesn't have all of the functionality that's demonstrated here, of course, but it works okay some of the time. All right, so let's do a demo. All right, so what are we going to do? So let's make oops. I'm going to make like a big octagon-y thing. All right, and we'll go for each time. We'll make, instead of going forward by 60, let's make these variables, I guess. All right, so instead of just making a single path along the ground, we will make a wall. So we will go forward length, and then we will go up, and then we will go back length, and then so that's going to get us part of the way there, but it's only going to work for the first wall. Let's make it go faster. So what we want to do is here we will go forward again, and we'll go down, and then we'll turn right, and I think that'll do the job. And we'll make it, no, let's make it red. And now I'm going to make some little towers that are going to go in every corner. So let's start a new object and give it a name and some properties. So these are properties that are assignable in the constructor, and it also creates some like getters and setters for them. And then we'll go so that gets us a square. So what we're going to do is I'll go and then we'll save our position here, and then we'll restore our position here, and oops, that is basically what we want. And then we'll do a little by 1 degree, and we'll make the speed 0. Alright, and now in here, after we turn right, we'll make a new tower, and we'll make it black, and we'll make the height 150 and the width 30. Oops. I must have. Alright, so these are some big towers. Alright, so this is like an arena. So now we're going to create some enemies. So our first enemy will be our trusty robot, and we'll just make one of these, but put it in a loop. So we'll go, actually let's define some behaviors. So this is Nim. Nim uses proc for procedure definitions, but there's some magic going on behind the scenes, so I needed to wrap those in a macro. So I'm using def like Python or Ruby use here. You can still write proc style. You can use proc. You can write normal nim procedures, but there's some hidden environment variables that get passed around that that won't be there. Of course, you could add them manually. So I'll have documentation with that at some point. So we'll go forward like 4 to 8 times, and then we'll turn right, minus 45 to 45 degrees. And I guess that's it. So this is the little state machine syntax. Oops. So we'll add another state. So we'll go to the player. So we'll look at the player. And then we'll go to the player minus, how far do we want them to be? 15. And then we'll go left. So we'll go left, but we'll go right every now and then. So if the player is near, then we'll switch our state. And I think that's it. And I'm also just in Wander. I'll just if I don't know, 50, just so they don't get too far away from us. So if they get far away, they should look at us and come back. I might not have made this big enough. Oh yeah, here they come. And then if we get close, you should start circling us. Yeah, there we go. And then let's just add so we've got player.near, which is just a helper for if they're within 5 meters. There is no player.far because I haven't written it yet, but it would be a very simple function to add. So now, if we're close, the person will start circling around us, and if we get far enough away, then they should just go back to what they were doing before. All right. So let's make another enemy. So one thing I need to add are arrows so you can tell which way forward is, because you can't tell by looking right now, and it's pretty important. So I'm going to draw something. So this has got, I'm not really demoing it very much here, but there are some reasonable voxel tools built in. So you can just build. My son mostly just builds in it right now. He doesn't do a whole lot of coding yet, but that's hopefully on the horizon. I don't know, what should I add? I don't know. I'm not an artist. Alright, so here is a character. Looks amazing. So we'll put it in the move block, and we'll go up 5. There's a bug where it's probably going to leave a ghost of itself behind, so let's see. And it did. Sometimes it doesn't, but usually it does. But that will be fixed. So I don't know. What do we want to do? Let's call this head. Name head. And we'll just make it wander like the other. Give it a speed. Oops. 5, I guess. So I'm not going to do this as a state machine. I'll just make it wander around. Doesn't seem to be going very fast. Oh, it's because the move block has its own separate speed. That is not a very good feature. That should go away soon. All right. So now let's have like 20 times. Actually, let's make it like 150 times head.new and sleep 0.2. And there we go. Amazing. So that's Inu. I guess there's yeah, that covers most of it. So before 0.2 comes out, I'll be fixing some bugs like this ghosting issue and a few others that I kind of sidestepped during the demo. Maybe 150 was too many. So yeah. Oh, it's starting to get slow. Oh, but they finally stopped. That's good. All right. So yeah, Inu 0.2 due out the summer. Oh, I had more to talk about. So the future, so lots of polish will be coming, hopefully, or at least some polish, fixing the crashers. Right now, the world format is not great, and sometimes levels get corrupted, so that will be fixed. Probably not for 0.2, but it's due in the future. I'll be adding an inventory, so when you create like a new script, like that head script, it will automatically take a little picture of it and stick it in the inventory, so then you can just add them anywhere you want. And you'll be able to collaborate on worlds with Git. So when I do come up with a new world format, it will be in some sort of Git friendly format. It won't have multiplayer support for quite a long time, if ever, but you will at least be able to work on worlds together. iOS support is coming out probably in 0.3, so that's the next release after this, hopefully sometime this year, but who knows. And I'd also like to add like game controller support. You can play with a game controller right now, but I'd like to be able to code with a game controller. Not exactly sure how that would even work, but I'd like to add VR support as well, and I don't want a keyboard to be required, so I'd like to see if I can come up with some simple coding at least via in VR. And multiplayer is hopefully coming, but it's a ways off yet. There's a lot of other things to do first. So that was Inu, and thank you very much. The GitHub project is dsrw/inu. Feel free to message me. I'm on Discord, on the Nim Discord, so dsrw there as well. So message me if you have any questions, or just post to the GitHub project. That would be great too. Thank you very much.